Hello, 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 and thank you for joining me today. Today, we're going to be working on goal setting, achieving success through SMART goals and effective task prioritization. I hope you are ready to receive all of these knowledge that is going to help you to excel and propel yourself forward. So let's get ready to learn about how to goal set using SMART goals. Okay, our objective for today. Participants will obtain knowledge and skills to set and achieve SMART goals and effectively prioritize tasks using a to-do list. Now, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to think about a goal that you want to achieve within the next month. It can be personal, professional, something dealing with your health, business-wise. I want you to think about that goal. What is it? Do you have it in your mind? Think about it. I want you to think about that goal and I want you to share it in the chat. Share it in the chat, and I also want you to write it down so you can have it to use later. All right, now let's get into the SMART goals. Now, if you did not know, SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Now, I'm going to go briefly into each SMART goal, what each letter means or what each word means. Now, if we have specific, that means do not write a vague goal. So let's go to losing weight. I want to lose weight. That's my goal. No, I need you to be more specific. I need you to give more detail into losing weight. So, for example, you want to say that I will attend a 60-minute workout session 3 times a week. That is more specific. 60-minute workout session 3 times a week. Now, you see how that's different from, I just want to lose weight. No. So now you're being specific. Now, measurable. For this, how can you measure this? And when they're saying measurable, they're meaning, what can you do to keep yourself accountable? What's going to hold you accountable for achieving this goal? You need some kind of system that's going to hold you accountable, and you can look at it and say, yes, I achieved this goal. That is what measurable means. So for this particular goal, 60-minute workout session 3 times a week, you can have it in your calendar, program it in your calendar for the days that you want to go. And then you can have it in like as a task. So that way it'll pop up and remind you, hey, you have this today. And if you completed it, you check it off. And that way it is measurable. It is holding you accountable. It's popping up on your phone. It's reminding you. It's popping up when you open your desktop. Hey, you have this today. Did you do it? Check it off. Let us know if you did it. That means measurable. And then we have achievable. Can you obtain this goal? Can you do it? So you need to stop and think. Stop and think about how your life is set up, because everybody's life is different. Everybody's life is different. So I want you to need to stop and think about how your life is set up. You're saying 60 minutes exercising 3 times a week. Can you do this? Can you do this? That's basically the question. Can you do this? So you need to stop and think. This is how my schedule normally looks. This is how my day normally looks. Can I put in 60 minutes 3 times a week to exercise? Can I do it? And then if you can, then yes, it is achievable. Now, if you already know, I don't have 60 minutes to spare in a day. Do you have 30 minutes? Maybe you can do 30 minutes instead of 60 minutes. You have to find what works for you so that you can achieve the goal. So that is what it means by achievable, because you can't just say, I'm going to go work out. Yes, I'm going to go work out. And then your friend like, okay, guess what? We can all meet up at the gym Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 6 p.m. And you like, yes, yes, yes. But then you didn't stop and think like, wait a minute, what does my schedule look like Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 6 p.m.? Like, can I fit that in? You're gung-ho, yes, because you have somebody who's with you. So that way you got like your partners who's going to be able to work with you. So your accountability partners for exercising, but you still got to stop and think, can you achieve this on your own? So even if they're not with you, can you achieve this on your own? Do you have that time to give to that goal that you have set? So you have to think about that. Now, let's move to relevant. When we're discussing relevant and talking about relevant, we're talking about, does it fit your priorities? Does it fit your values that you have for yourself? So relevant, you set this goal, you want to lose weight, you decided that you're going to do 60 minutes 3 times a week. Now, but is this relevant? Is it a priority for you? Because guess what? If it's not a priority for you, are you going to do it? Let's be honest with ourselves. If it's not a priority, are we going to do it? No, we're not going to do it. But if it's relevant, for example, you have health issues. Your doctor told you you have to lose this weight. You have to get your blood pressure down. You have to lower your cholesterol. You have irregular heartbeats. So you need to start working out so that way a pattern can be shown and developed throughout your body. So these are things. So that will make it relevant. Like, yes, I have these health issues. The doctor said this. So I am going to put this in place to help me balance out my health issues. That is relevant. If you're just saying, no, I just want to do this because all of my girlfriends or my guy friends said that we're going to lose weight this year, so I'm just going to do it. But if it's not a priority for you, it's not going to get done. So you have to make sure it's relevant. It lines up with your priorities, your values. And then we have time bound. And what I mean by time bound is, what is a deadline that you're going to set for yourself to get this task done? So we know that it takes about 15 days to make a habit. So let's say we're going to do this for 30 days. And you're like, why 30 days? Because yes, it might take 15 days to make a habit, but we want to make sure that we continue that habit. So we want to make sure that we continue to work out and we continue to exercise. So at the end of 30 days, basically a month, we're going to stop and we're going to reevaluate our goal. So we're going to say, okay, we set our goal 60-minute exercising 3 times a week. It's 30 days have gone by. We're stopping, we're evaluating. How is this working out for me? Have I been achieving this? So if you said 3 times a week and you realize you're only going 2 times a week, do you need to change your goal to 2 times a week instead of 3 times a week? Because remember, when you're goal setting to allow you to get from one point to another. You're not trying to create extra stress. That is not what you're doing. So if you realize after 30 days that you're only going to the gym 2 times a week, guess what? Then you can change your goal to say 2 times a week. Why? Because 2 times is better than 0. But don't change your goal to say 2 times a week and then all of a sudden you go down to 1 time a week. No, we're not going to keep decreasing it, but we want to make sure that we set that goal to a point that you are comfortable with and that you are able to obtain and to meet that goal. So if you realize you said 3 times a week and 3 times a week was not working out, but 2 times is, switch the goal. I am going to work out 60 minutes for 2 times out of a week. That way, guess what? You are accomplishing that goal. So that is what it's meant by time bound. But now we're going to go a little bit deeper into it. But before we do that, if you did not purchase the planner, the goal setting planner, I want you to download these 2 sheets. One is going to be the goal setting sheet for SMART goals. And then the other one is going to be the to-do list. I'm going to put it in the chat. I want you to go ahead and I want you to download these because this is what we're going to be working from. So that way we can all be on the same page. Now, if you don't have the opportunity to download it, just write it down as we're going along. You're going to see specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound throughout the entire presentation. So you can just write down some examples as we go along. But I wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page, and then you have a reference guide to go to. So you can go ahead and download it now. If you purchase the planner, you already are ahead of the game. Okay, so let's move on. Now, we're going to talk about different examples or areas in our life that we can create SMART goals for. So we have personal, professional, health and fitness, financial management, relationship, and social. Now, there are many more aspects to our life that we can set goals for, but I just wanted to focus on these 5 for right now. But after you learn how to make a goal from these 5 that we're going to go through, guess what? You can make a goal for anything. So don't go, oh my goodness, she didn't talk about what I wanted to talk about. If you learn how to do one for these 5, you can do one for anything. So you are set and good to go. So don't worry. But you can also drop in the chat. If you have any questions, you can always put it in the chat. Or you can always send me an email saying, hey, I was in the workshop. I still need a little bit of help on this. Can we touch bases? I am here to help you. I am here to help you. So you can always do that. So I'm going to throw it out there real quick before we move along. You can always reach me at Jacqueline Jobes at eoechangeagent.com. Jacqueline Jobes at eoechangeagent.com if you need to reach me. Okay, so let's get into this. We have our personal goal. Now, here we have it again. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Now, we have somebody who wanted to put self-care as their goal. Now, remember, we don't want a vague goal. So that means they weren't going to start off, I just want to do self-care. Make sure I do more self-care this year. That is very vague because that can mean a whole bunch of different things. But now, they're being specific. Incorporate 30 minutes of intentional self-care activities into my daily routine. They're being specific. Now, measurable. How are they going to be able to hold themselves accountable for this? 30 minutes, intentional self-care, daily routine. So when they're saying daily, that means they want to do this every day. Every day, they want to do 30 minutes of intentional self-care. So how can they hold themselves accountable? Let's look at the measurable. Keep a daily journal to track the consistency of self-care practices. Ensure that at least 30 minutes are dedicated each day. You can do a journal. You can put it in your calendar, schedule it out. So if you know at Monday at 8 a.m., that's when you have 30 minutes. Put it in your calendar, my self-care time. Then if you know on Tuesdays, it's going to be at 6. Put it in your calendar at that time. So I need you to realize it doesn't have to be the same day every day. Nope. It's when you have the opportunity to do it. Now let's look at achievable because I'm about to get ahead of myself, but let's look at achievable. Choose self-care activities that align with personal preferences and lifestyles. Once again, it has to line up with your lifestyle. So do not make a goal and set a goal based on somebody else's lifestyle. It has to be aligned with your lifestyle and your preferences that can integrate into your daily routine without causing stress and disruption. Because once again, what did I say? When we do our setting goals, we want to make sure that it's not causing us stress. That is not what goal setting is about. Goal setting is not about causing stress. It's supposed to alleviate the stress. Why? Because it's giving you an action plan on how you're going to go about reaching that goal. So if it's just causing more stress, that means we did something wrong. So I want you to remember that when you're trying to achieve your goal, make sure whatever the steps that you put in place do not cause stress or disruption to your regular life. So once again, specific 30 minutes, intentional self-care activities in the daily routine. How are you going to keep track of that? Keep a journal. Put it in your calendar. Make a checklist. Achievable. Is this achievable? Stop, think. How are my days lined up? Can I fit 30 minutes into my day for my self-care? What is my self-care going to look like? That I can do it in 30 minutes. These are the things that you need to think about. Now, when we get to the to-do list, we're going to jump back into what is the self-care going to look like. We're going to dive deeper into the achievable section when we get to the to-do list section. But right now, I want you to understand how you are mapping out your goal using the SMART goal system. So I hope that you are following along and you're understanding what is going on. If you don't understand, you can drop a message in the chat and I will look at it. Then we have relevant. Prioritizing self-care enhances overall health and fosters a positive mindset. See, this is what you have to do. You have to be able to speak on the goal that you set. So you set your goal, and then you need to stop and say, is this relevant? Is this beneficial for me? How is this beneficial for me? Is this on my top to-do list? Is this a priority for me? And then in relevant, you should be able to write it down. Why is this relevant? It's relevant because it enhances my overall health. It fosters a positive mindset, and we all need that. So yes, self-care should be initiated every day somewhere. And it is hard. It is hard to try to figure it out, but you need to figure out that self-care somewhere. Just like for me, off subject a little bit, but I realized because I work from home, and then I do go out sometimes when I need to, but most of the time I work from home. Plus, I'm homeschooling my children. So in the process of that, I realized when it's lunchtime, I fix their lunch, they go sit down, they have that designated table, they sit at, they eat their lunch. But when I fix my lunch, I stand up at the counter and I eat my lunch. And then soon as right after I finish eating my lunch, guess what I did? I go right back to work. So I realized that I had to incorporate some self-care in there for me. So what I do now is when I make my lunch, I have to sit down. I sit down and I like Hallmark movies. I like Hallmark movies. So I will sit down, I will cut on the TV and I will go to the Hallmark station. It could be something, it could be in the middle of a movie. It doesn't matter because most of us, if you're one of those people who know Hallmark, you already know the flow. So you can basically figure out what happened in the beginning of the movie and what's going to happen at the end. But it's just the way it's just the style of the movie. I like it. So I can cut it on. And for 30 minutes, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to enjoy eating my food. And I'm going to watch whatever is on at that time for 30 minutes. That is my time to just zone out and just relax. So I'm not throwing back my food, yeah, and then getting right back to work, which is all about like 10 minutes and I'm back to work. Where was my time for me to decrease, just to bring myself back down, to calm myself down? I didn't give myself that grace at all. But now I am intentional with that. I give myself that 30 minutes that I have to sit after I make my food. I sit down, I eat my food, I watch TV for 30 minutes. That is me making sure that I'm prioritizing it in my schedule. So it is there. And then time bound. Implement daily self-care for the next 30 days, like I said for the other one. Establish a routine that can continue to grow long-term. I'm not going to go deep into it because I mentioned that before as an example. 30 days gives you that time to build a habit and then to make sure that that habit is fully working for you. And then you're going to go back and you're going to reflect to see if there's anything that you need to change. So this is setting goals for personal. So let's move on to the next one, which is professional. Now, for professional, before we even start, I'm just going to say that there are many different types of professionals. So the example that I gave is for somebody who's basically in the corporate world and they're trying to work their way up the ladder and they know that in order for them to move to the next level, they have to do this. If they want to be partner by this year, they have to do this. This is that type of the goal setting for them. But yes, we can break it down for other individuals, but I just decided to do it for that. So we have specific: to obtain an increase in salary by $20,000 within the next 12 months, 12 months. Yeah, that'd have been something, 3 months, but yes, 12 months. Remember, this is for corporate world. We can do entrepreneurs as well, but this right here, this is just for the corporate world based on the rest of the answers that I'm going to give. So measurable. How can they track this? How can they hold themselves accountable? They track progress by regularly assessing performance matrix, industry salary standards, and feedback from supervisor. So that means, for example, if you know that in your line of work where you are, they're giving a promotion to the person who brings in the most sales in the next 2 months. So that is something that you can work towards doing. That's you can track that based off of your sales. Track your sales. And then that will let you know, like, yes, I'm making it. I'm going to reach it. I'm going to do this. This promotion might be mine. Then we have achievable. Based on research, industry benchmarks, and achievements in one current role, a $20,000 salary increase is realistic. For this, that means you actually researched it. Like, is this possible? Am I able to obtain this? And you went back and you researched it based on people who had jobs that are in the same field that you are, and then how they moved up the ladder. And from what they did, you can look back and say, okay, yes, this is obtainable. I can do this if I do A, B, C, and D. So that is letting you know if it's achievable for you. Then relevant. A higher salary is directly related to my career growth, financial stability, and recognition of my contributions to my company. So that is your priority. Your priority is to reach that higher salary because it's putting you on that plateau that you want to be on as far as your career growth. So because that is how it's relevant to you, that means you're going to stay focused and you're going to try to reach that goal because you have a career growth plan. And you already know by year 1, you wanted to be here. Year 2, you wanted to be here, 3, 4, and so on. So that is how this specific goal is helping you. And then time bound. Achieve salary increase within the next 12 months through successful planning. So this individual, they want their $20,000 salary increase. They saw that it was achievable because they went back and they researched other people in their field who have obtained what it is that they want. And they saw the steps that they did in order to receive that increase. So then they went back and said, okay, I see everything they did. Now, is this what I want? Is this relevant for me? Is this a top priority for me? And they decided, yes, it's a top priority for me because I have a growth plan and I want to be at this level at this time. So in order to do that, I have to follow these steps to get there. And then they decided that they're going to do it within a year time, 12 months. Now you're saying, okay, so what about somebody else? Okay, let's do an entrepreneur very quickly. Entrepreneur specific. To obtain an increase in salary by $20,000 in the next 12 months. We can keep the same goal. Now, what is an entrepreneur going to do to make sure that that is measurable? Now, that all depends on what is the entrepreneur's niche and what are they actually, how are they making their money? So based off of how they're making their money, they can create a checklist based off of it, saying that my goal is that I'm going to make an additional $2,000 every month because it says $20,000 by the end of the year. So there's 12 months times 2 is 24,000. So they'll make a little bit extra. So they can say, I'm going to increase my sale revenue to make 2,000 extra every month. Or I'm going to send out more emails to my ideal clients to make 2,000 every month. I'm going to create more pitches to those in the industry that I'm in that need my services to make 2,000 more every month. Those are measurable. Those are measurable. I'm going to do some cold calling to new clients and old clients to remind them about what it is that I do and what I offer to make that extra 2,000 every month. This is how it is measurable for an entrepreneur. And then achievable. How can I do this based off it being achievable? Like, what can I do to achieve the goal? I basically gave some of that as far as in it being measurable as well. So basically, that's your step by step. What are you going to do? Relevant. Why is this relevant to me? And then you might say, I need this $20,000 because we need to be able to breathe based on all of the expenses that we are occurring. So is it relevant? Is that a priority for you? Yes, because you need to breathe. You feel like you're starting to drown. So that way you need that extra $20,000. Or you're an entrepreneur and you're like, yes, I need this extra $25,000 because I'm planning on doing an extra vacation this year, and I want to take my whole family. So that extra $20,000 will cover the vacation for this year. Is that a priority for you? Yes, because you want to do that this year for your family. Time bound. What is it? When do you want to have all of this done? The next 12 months, a year. So you're saying that you have a year to bring that $20,000 increase into your business. So that is how you would go through it if you were an entrepreneur, and then you would basically map it out and make the steps, which we would do later on when we do the to-do list, and that'll fall under achievable. And then next we have, if you have any questions, remember, drop them in the chat. And then if I do not get to it, remember that you can always email me and I will try to help you out the best that I can. Next, we have health and fitness. Health and fitness. Specific. Lose 25 pounds by adopting a healthier lifestyle, incorporating balanced nutrition, regular exercise, and mindful eating. Now, is this a vague statement? No, it is not. It is not vague at all. It is detailed. Lose how much? 25 pounds. How am I going to do it? Adopt a healthier lifestyle, incorporate balanced nutrition, regular exercise, and mindful eating. It is laid out for you. Measurable. How are you going to hold yourself accountable? How are you going to track this? Track progress monitoring. You're going to weigh yourself regularly, preferably 2 pounds lost per month. 2 pounds lost per month. Now, I need you to think about this, because there are those people who, when they decide to set a weight loss goal, they say, I want to lose 25 pounds. And then you look at them and say, okay, so when do you want to have this off? 2 months. I want to lose 25 pounds in 2 months. And now I need you to realize, when it comes to losing weight, and realistically, if you lose 25 pounds in 2 months, realistically, it's going to come back. Why? Because you have not trained your body in that healthy lifestyle to continue it on. If it was 25 pounds that quickly, that means you kind of did one of those fad diets where you stop eating for a certain amount of time, or this, that, and the other, to lose that 25 pounds. But once you stop that diet, you gain it all back. So we need it to be a realistic goal for you. So you're tracking it, you're weighing yourself regularly, or you're weighing yourself once a month, and preferably you lose 2 pounds per month. Once again, because that's letting you know, if you do 2 pounds per month, and I'm jumping down to time bound, it says reach your target weight loss of 25 pounds within a year. That's 12 months within a year. 2 pounds per month, and you keep doing it, because remember, 15 days to make something a habitual routine. So if you keep doing the regular exercise, the mindful eating, balancing your nutrition, healthier lifestyle every month, and you continue to do it, you're going to continue to see that weight loss. And then by the end of that year, yes, you will have lost your 25 pounds. But if you're trying to do a quick and a fast in a hurry, it's not going to work. So remember, we're setting goals, smart goals. We're being smart about it. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. This is not one of them fast things. No, we're setting it so that we can accomplish our goal and we can be successful at it. So achievable, losing 25 pounds is a realistic and healthy goal over a 12-month period. Yes, it is. Relevant, weight loss contributes to overall health improvement, increased energy, and a positive impact on both physical and mental well-being. This is what you're telling yourself. The relevant part is what you're telling yourself. That is your priorities. They're aligned with your they're aligned with your values. So this is why it is relevant. I am trying to lose this weight because it increases my energy level. I need that increase in energy level. And then it is positive impact on both me, physical and mental. And I can speak to that because I go to the gym, and when I go to the gym, it's my me time, but also it allows me to de-stress from everything that is going on. So yes, I can attest to the physical and the mental. And then time bound, reach your target weight loss of 25 pounds within the next 12 months. Now, how many of you can see yourself doing this? How many of you can see yourself doing this? Now, I'm going to pause for a minute because I realized I got ahead of myself. I want you all to stop. I want you to stop. And I want you to go back to personal. I want you to right now pause the video and I want you to create your personal goal. Pause the video, create your personal goal. Yes, I got ahead of myself. Pause the video, give yourself 5 minutes to create your personal goal. Okay, I want you to pause the video, and now I want you to create your professional goal. Pause the video, and I want you to create your professional goal. Give yourself about 5 minutes, pause the video, and then I want you to create your professional goal. I want you to pause the video, and I want you to create your health and fitness goal. Pause the video, and let's create a health and fitness goal. All right, now we're on to financial management. Financial management. Financial management. We have our SMART goals set up. We have specific, establish and follow a monthly budget that allocates income to essential expenses and savings. So that is your goal. You decided that you wanted to save some money. So how are you going to do it? Establish and follow a monthly budget that allocates income to essential expenses and savings. Now, measurable. How are you going to do this? How are you going to keep track of it? How are you going to hold yourself accountable? Track spending and saving through budgeting tools and apps. There are so many budgeting tools and apps that you can find online that will help you with tracking your spending, tracking your savings. Or you can be the individual who you just want to pull up your bank statement and you want to highlight it. But most banks now, especially if you get the mobile app, they will already break it down for you. Once you open your account, they'll show you, this is the amount of money you have in your account. This is the amount of money that you spent on groceries. This is the amount of money you spent on personals. So it is there for you as well. So you can already look to see what apps do you have that are already doing this work for you. But you want to be able to track your spending and then hold yourself accountable. Now, there are some people who, when they're doing their savings, they actually have a book. And inside of the booklet, they have little pockets where they're actually inserting money into it. So the day they're going to save $5, the next day they might save $10. But they have those kind of saving booklets out as well that can help people to budget their money and save money. Now we have achievable. Create a realistic budget that reflects income, necessary expenses, and achievable saving goals. Now, you cannot be one of those individuals who say, I'm going to save $30,000 and you only make $50,000 or you only make $45,000 a year. How are you saving all of that money when you have other expenses? So you need to be able to actually sit down. You need to write down how much you know is coming in a year. And then you need to be able to write complete a budget, create a budget based off of all of your expenses. And then once you see how much is going out basis how much is coming in, then you can say, okay, I have this threshold right here of the money that I can pull out and save. But you can't just throw a number out there and say, this is what I want to save. No, you have to actually sit down, look at your income, look at what you're bringing in, then check out all of your expenses. And then you need to go from there and see exactly what it is that you can do to save. Like, do you have to cut back on some of your spending? Maybe you have a lot of streaming services. You want to cut back on some of those. Maybe you go out to eat 5 times a week, and maybe you want to do grocery shopping and eat in sometimes. There are different things that you can do to achieve your goal, but you have to create that realistic budget that reflects your income and your expenses to make this goal work for you. Relevant. Is it a priority for you? Proper budgeting is essential for financial stability, debt reduction, and achieving financial goals, aligning with the broader objective of securing a strong financial future. So that is why you are doing this. Why? Because you want to achieve that strong financial future. So yes, this is a priority for me because right now I am trying to look ahead to the future. And I know that if I keep going the way that I'm going, I'm not going to have any savings. So I need to set this plan in action so that I can have that money that I need for my future. Time bound. How long are you going to do this for? Implement and maintain a budget for the next 6 months. Implement and maintain a budget for the next 6 months. Now, why are you going to stop at 6 months? That is half of a year. You can stop and reflect to see how is it working. Stop and reflect. You always need to stop and reflect on any goal that you set. Stop and reflect at some point to see how it is working, because that way you can always go back and you can change some things. You can change some things, you can add in some things, take out some things, but you need to be able to make sure that your goal is achievable for you. And in order for it to be achievable for you, you need to reflect to see the pros and cons of what you have set up. So that is the time-bound part. Now, what I want you to do again, I want you to stop and I want you to create a financial goal for yourself. Stop and create a financial goal for yourself. Next, we have relational and social. Relational and social. So let's go through our SMART goals for relational and social. Specific. Clearly communicate and define personal boundaries with my partner, addressing specific areas such as personal space, communication preferences, and expectations. So what does this mean? You are trying to better communicate with your partner. So now you all are going to start addressing some specific areas that you all need that help in. So that is the goal that you are setting for yourself. Now, so how are we going to check to see if this goal is measurable? Assess progress through open communication and ongoing discussion with your partner. So let's do an example for this. You set the goal. Now, throughout the day, you can just ask a random question. Hey, how is this working for you? Do you think that we are communicating better, or is there a different way that I should communicate with you? Those are just different ways of assessing, and that is measurable. It's holding yourself accountable. But remember, when clearly communicating is a two-way street. So you can't be the only one initiating all the conversations to do the check to make sure that you all are working towards this goal. It has to be a two-way street. So just keep that in mind. Now, achievable. Establish realistic and reasonable boundaries that prioritize mutual understanding and create a healthier dynamic within the relationship. So, what are we doing? Establishing realistic and reasonable boundaries. Now, you can't do something just off the cuff that you already know it's going to just fail. So you have to do things in a reasonable boundary. Set those reasonable boundaries. And then sometimes you got to take baby steps. Okay, we're going to start here. I know we can't get to here yet, but let's start with just basic baby steps. And then we work our way up. Relevant. Setting boundaries is crucial for maintaining a balanced and respectful relationship, promoting individual well-being and fostering mutual respect. So this is what you are telling yourself. This is why you set this goal. This is why this goal has to work, because we want to maintain balance and respectful relationship. We want to promote individual well-being, and we want to foster mutual respect. This is why we are working on this goal. So yes, this is a priority for us because we want to both be happy in this relationship. So we need it to work. So we're going to set this goal. We're going to make sure that we progress monitor ourselves. We're going to go back and assess to make sure that we're having that open communication, that open dialogue with each other. We're checking in on each other. Those are measurable, achievable. We're going to make sure that our goals are realistic. We're going to make sure that they are reasonable within our boundaries. And then the time bound for this, we're going to finalize and implement agreed upon boundaries with my partner within the next 30 days. So we're going to take a whole entire month to talk this thing out. So this is not a, hey, can we talk? We sit down that one day. I think we need to do this, 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 and this. Let's put it in action. No, that's not how it works, because sometimes people need time to think. There are those who are thinkers. There are those who are doers. The thinkers need more time to sit and actually think about things instead of just rushing into it, because they're going to think rationally and logically. They're going to try to weigh everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything. And then the doers are like, we just going, yes, that sounds good. Let's get this done. But that is not how it works. So you need to put that time in. So you have a month, 30 days, you're going to work on it. Work on it for 30 days. So that means you're basically going to be coming to the table. I think this is something that we need to work on. Do you want to put this as one of our goals that we're going to work on? Okay, so what are some things that we can put in place? You're talking this through for the 30 days. Okay, so all right. So by the end of that 30 days, it's like, okay, so this is what we have agreed upon. We decided that we're going to do A, B, C, and D. And then this is our time frame for us to make sure that it is working. And then we're going to come back and we're going to reflect within this in the next maybe 30 to 60 days to see if it's working. Agreed? Agreed. So that is one way for you to set a relational or social goal. So I want you to stop and I want you to create your own goal for relational or social. Create your own goal. And somebody might be like, what are you talking about for social? Social might just mean something as far as you being a more social person. What are some things that you can put in place that create yourself to become more social? You don't have to become a social butterfly, but just to get yourself out there. Like some people, they need to network. They have businesses, they need to network, but they're introverts. But what are some things what goals can you put in place to help you to network? So that is one thing you can do for social. So I want you to take this time right now, pause the video, take this time right now, and I want you to create your SMART goal for relational and social. All right. Now we're going to get into the to-do list and how this to-do list can help us with our SMART goals. So we're going to be talking about prioritizing tasks with a to-do list. We have 3 parts to this: importance of task prioritization, introduction to effective to-do lists, and tips for creating and organizing a to-do list. Now, for importance of task prioritization, you need to determine, what works best for you. You need to also understand what things do you need to work on first, second, and third, because sometimes we have a lot on our plate. And we're trying to get through it all, but we realize we can't get to it all. So you need to identify, what is my main priority? My main priority, I need to focus on that first. And then after I focus on my main priority, what comes next? So, for example, if you're at work and you have deadlines, and say this is January. So we have January, we have a deadline coming up. Then you have a deadline that's coming up in February, and then you have one that's coming up in March. So are we going to sit and are we going to focus on the one that's coming up in March first? No, we're going to focus on the one that's coming up in January, because that is this month. This is January. We have to have it done by the end of the month. That is what our focus is going to be on. That is the same when you goal set. When you're goal setting and you're doing task prioritization, which goal did you want to accomplish first? Which goal did you have the more it was substantial enough that you had to put this one first? Maybe because if you do this goal first, then everything else will fall in place with the other goals. So you have to be able to understand the importance of aligning your goals and aligning your to-do list. You always want to do or focus on the main priority first. Focus on the main priority first. But some people be like, I know, but I can do this one faster. You can do this one faster, but it's taking time away from you focusing and completing that main priority. So you need to be able to stay focused on that. So now let's look at this. Here are all of the goals that we use for our example. We have our personal, professional, health and fitness, relational and social, and then our financial goals. And I need you to stop and I need you to think based off of what you created for yourself. I want you to look and see which one of these can be a priority that you want to focus on first. Which one? So for example, and what we see, we have incorporating 30 minutes of intentional self-care. Then we have obtaining an increase in $20,000, lose 25 pounds, communicating and setting personal boundaries with your partner, establishing and following a monthly budget that allocates income into your expenses and your savings. Which one do you want to focus on first? And it's going to be different for different people. For me, I would say that I want to first focus on the financial management. And that is because if I focus on the financial management, I will be able to have a budget already set in a line. And from that budget, I can say yay or nay to whatever it is I'm trying to do for my health and fitness. Because I can say, yes, I can put out this money to eat healthier. I can put out this money to go to the gym. If I want to buy some equipment, I have it there because my budget is there. I can look at my budget and see it. And it also the same for self-care. My self-care might be as far as me going out and spending some money in some sort, getting a massage, something, therapy. I need to know if I have that money set aside in my budget to be able to do that. So for me, the financial piece, I will do that one first. But for once again, it's different for everybody. But you need to identify what goals you want to focus on first. What goals you want to focus on first. Implement those goals before you start moving on to the next one. Some they can overlap, but most of the time they can overlap if they're similar. If not, focus on one and then work towards the other one. Now we're going to do prioritizing tasks with a to-do list. Okay, now for this assignment, I want everybody to pull out your to-do list that you have. If you have the workbook, it is in there. And then if you have the sheet that I downloaded, it is in there. Now, I'm not exactly sure why my to-do list got scrambled, but we're going to go ahead through it. And we're going to work on it. I'm kind of upset about that thing, but that's all right. Okay, so let's focus on this. Y'all see my to-do list? This is what I'm talking about. Don't understand why it's like that. But we're going to focus on this. I'm going to get this to-do list straight, y'all. So while I'm working on this to-do list very quickly, I want you all to continue to complete your list that you are doing. Okay, we're back, you guys. I had to get that fixed. Okay, so I want you all to look at this. Now we have the 2 pages together because I want to be able to explain to you how you're going to create your to-do list. I want to be able to explain to you how you're going to create your to-do list. Now, this was the personal goal that we had set, incorporating 30 minutes of intentional self-care. And then we had our measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Now, I want you to look at the achievable. Look at the achievable on the goal setting for this one. And then I'm going to give you time to look at the one that you created. So achievable, choose self-care activities that align with personal preferences and lifestyles that can integrate into your daily routine without causing stress or disruption. So now this is how the to-do list come into place because you have to choose self-care activities. So I want you to think about it. What self-care activities can you do for yourself? 30 minutes daily. 30 minutes daily that you can do for yourself, that you can put into your daily routine that is not going to cause you stress and it's not going to disrupt your daily life. What are some self-care activities? Now, on the to-do list, I already created some. You can pray and reflect. That means if you're going to get up early for 30 minutes in the morning, you can pray, reflect, meditate, read the word, whatever you do, you can do that for 30 minutes. Exercise. You might be able to find time to squeeze in some exercise. aromatherapy bath. You get home from work, everything is settled. You might be able to sit and take a bath. Take a nap. Self-care, take a nap, 30-minute nap, a power nap. You might be able to squeeze that in. Therapy. They have phone call virtual sessions with therapists now. You might be able to schedule in a therapy session, a weekly therapy session at a specific time and every day on that week. So if it's Thursday at 5 o'clock, you know, I have my therapy session for 30 minutes. That is something that you can put in there. Read, listen to something inspirational. You can do that. And then being social, hang out with friends, because that is a self-care as well. When you know you want to get out, change your environment, you just go out and you hang out with your friends. So these are some things that you can do put on your to-do list. Now, if you want to, after you write them all down on your to-do list, you can actually write down what day of the week you're going to do this. So if you have pray and reflect, this might be an everyday thing. So every day for 30 minutes in the morning, you might want to pray and reflect. But then you also say, I can do that in the morning, but I can also do something later on. So then you might say on Mondays, I will exercise for 30 minutes at 7 o'clock p.m. On Tuesdays, this is the day that I do all of my running around. I take the kids to all of their sports activities. So I just need that woo-saw moment. So I'm going to schedule my aromatherapy bath on Tuesdays because I know that they're going to be down at a certain time. And that's when I'm going to prioritize myself and give myself that 30 minutes to relax. Take a nap. Take a nap might be in the middle of the day. Like, you know that on Thursdays is your most stressful day at work, but you need that nap because on Thursday, that's when they hand out all the new assignments that's going to roll over into the next week. So you're in meeting after meeting after meeting, and then they're giving you a pile of what you need to do to get yourself ready for this new job. So you know Thursdays are your rough days and you need that nap in the middle of the day. So during your lunch break, take your lunch break, take your lunch break. Take a 30-minute nap during your lunch break, and then make sure you eat before you take your nap, and then you nap. And then you get back and you're a little bit refreshed to go out throughout the day. Therapy, read and listen to something, and social and hanging out. You schedule in those times. But I need you to see it's coming from the achievable section. The to-do list, everything is flowing from the achievable. How can the goal be accomplished? What are the steps you need to do to make this goal accomplished? You're taking it from the achievable section. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to stop and I want you to try to jot down some things that you can do for your first one, for the personal, to make a to-do list with. Look at your achievable, what you wrote down, and then I want you to try to create a to-do list. But those steps are going to help you to achieve that goal. I want you to stop and do that now. Okay, next we have prioritizing tasks with a to-do list. We are going to do the importance of task prioritization. The importance of the task prioritization. And we're going to break this down a little bit. Let's look at this. And let's look at this. This is a new personal goal. This is a new personal goal. Specific. I will implement and set a bedtime for me and my household. Now, how many of you struggle with this? Trying to get the kids to sleep on time, trying to get yourself to sleep on time. So this individual decided they're going to set a bedtime for themselves and for their household. Measurable. How are they going to measure and hold themselves accountable? Children will be in bed by 8 p.m. Adults will be in bed by 9:30 p.m. And they're going to make sure that this is the routine that they stick to every single day. So this is how they're holding themselves accountable. Children, bed by 8, adults in the bed by 9:30. Now we already know adults, yes. Being in the bed, just you need to be in that room at 9:30, winding yourself down. You can be laying in the bed doing something else, but just 9:30, adults in the bed. Okay, achievable. Create a checklist with all the materials needed step by step to ensure that everyone is in bed at their assigned time. And remember, the achievable part is when you do your to-do list. So we're going to dive into that in a few minutes. So achievable, create a checklist. We're going to dive into that. Relevant, is this a priority for you? Regulating bedtimes allow everyone to get the allotted amount of sleep needed to be refreshed for the next day. So yes, this is a bedtime. This is a bedtime. This is a priority for you, and you're explaining why it's a priority for you, because everyone needs to be refreshed the next day. Then time bound. I will implement these practices for 30 days and then evaluate if any changes have occurred in our lives. So yes, these are the specific goals, the measurable goals, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals that this individual have set for their family as far as bedtime. Now we're going to go into how do you create your to-do list. How do you create your to-do list for this? All right, so once again, they're achievable. Create a checklist with all the needed steps to ensure everyone is in bed at their assigned time. So what are those steps and what does those steps look like? So here we have, dinner is completed by, give it a time. These are the steps. Because remember, our goal is focusing on getting everybody in bed. Children 8, parents 9:30. So in order to do that, you got to think about your day. Think about your day. So I want you to close your eyes. I want everybody to close their eyes. And I just want you to think about your day, everything that you do within one day up until it's time for you to go to bed. Now, I'm quite sure everybody can see all of those things that you do within that one day up until it's time to go to bed. So now you have to pull and create some steps and put some routines in place that's going to make sure that you get in bed at that designated time. So all day long, we're going to start at dinner. Dinner is completed by. That means all the food is cooked, so that way the family can eat. Dinner is completed by a certain time. So if you're going to say dinner is completed by 6 o'clock, family is eating dinner at 6:30. All nighttime chores are completed by. So 6:30 to what? You're going to say 7:30, the family's still eating. 6:30 to 7:15, family is still eating. So all nighttime chores are completed by 7:30, 7:45. Children are preparing for bed at 7:45. Children are in the bed by 8 o'clock. Do you see the steps that you are taking? Now, all of these steps have to align, and they have to become a routine that you do every night so that everybody in the house knows these are the steps that we're going to take in order to get everyone in bed at their designated time. So children are in bed by 8 o'clock. Then it says parents relax for. Remember, parents need to be in bed by 9:30. So children are in bed by 8 o'clock. So the parents now have from 8 o'clock to 9:30 to relax. And you're like, but they got to do the chores. But if they were doing their chores when the nighttime chores were being completed, so the kids were doing their chores, parents were doing their chores, everybody finished their chores around the same time, then that leaves that hour amount of time where the parents can relax. Because like you always need that time to relax before just jumping into bed. If you jump into bed, then you are restless and it takes your body a minute to settle down. But if you're relaxed beforehand and then you get into bed, it's just like, okay, now my body knows it's time to go to sleep. So between 8 and 9:30, the parents are relaxing, and then parents are in bed by 9:30. Now, does everybody see how this is working out and how you use the achievable part of the SMART goals to create your to-do list? You use the achievable part to create your to-do list. to make sure that your to-do list is being prioritized and to make sure that your to-do list is being effective in your life. And then you would go back to time bound at the end. I will implement these practices for 30 days and then evaluate if any changes have occurred in our lives. So what practices are they talking about? They're talking about what is on your to-do list. Dinner is completed by, family is eating dinner at. Not all nighttime chores are done. Children preparing for bed at. Children are in bed by. Parents relax. Parents are in bed. Those are the steps that you're going to be implementing for 30 days. And then you're going to see if the family is refreshed the next day, if it's working out, or are there some problems, or if there's some other things that need to be added to it. So now I hope that this was helpful for you as far as being able to set SMART goals and then being able to use a to-do list to prioritize your SMART goals and to help you to achieve your SMART goals. So I just want you to make sure that you use these as a reference, use these sheets as a reference that you completed. So that way, once we finish our presentation, you can go back and you can reference what you wrote down and you can add to it or you can take away from it for your SMART goals. Because this whole presentation was to be able to provide you with knowledge to help you to be able to set up SMART goals for yourself. And these SMART goals are going to help you to move from one level to a next. We want to propel you forward. We want to be able to give you that push you need to have that success that you want to achieve for your future. So I hope that this presentation was beneficial to you, that you understand how to create SMART goals. You understand why they need to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, and that you also know how to incorporate a to-do list into making your SMART goals work for you. Once again, I would like to thank you for your time. I would also like for you to be able to scan the QR code and to take a survey for me. Let me know how you benefited from this presentation. What were your takeaways? If you had dislikes, share your dislikes with me. And then also please leave a review for this presentation on goal setting. And once again, my name is Jacqueline Frederick. I am here to encourage, motivate, uplift, inspire. My name is Jacqueline Jobs. I am here to encourage, motivate, uplift, inspire, empower, and educate you. Now, you can also reach me at Teacher Mommy Teacher. I'm an educational consultant at www.teachermommy.net. Blessed Publication, where I help authors self-publish their books and I help them to write their books. You can reach me at www.blessedpublications.org, and Empowering Others to Excel, where I am here to empower you. You can reach me at www.eoechangeagent.com. Once again, thank you for your time. I hope that you have learned something from this presentation and that you will go forth and that you will excel. Thank you once again. And also, you can always follow me on social media. If you're doing LinkedIn, I am under Jacqueline Jobs. If you're doing Facebook or Instagram, I am under all of my business names: Teacher Mommy Teacher, Blessed Publication, and Empowering Others to Excel. Until next time, make sure you're excelling in life.